have not eaten 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids. It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of. I have over 2,000 followers on TikTok and I can't get not one person to send me 50 cents. If you're watching a fucking video and you can't send me nothing,
what the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting that goddamn food stamps in goddamn November? Cause I'm getting my goddamn. I'm gonna tell you just like this on Jesus Lamar mother Christ. I will be at mother Walmart with my steel toes on and my mother helmet, and I dare a bitch try to stop me from walking out that mother store with my grocery.
At the same time, American people are stressed out about not being able to afford groceries at the same time that they are threatening to take away SNAP benefits, and they are taking away SNAP benefits from people who need it most. The same time all of this is occurring, half of the White House is being demolished to build a $250 million freaking golden ballroom. What is happening? Are we not pissed off enough? I'm over it. Get me out of this freaking country.
I was on food stamps working 50 hours a week. I try not to make political posts as often as I can because TikTok keeps on taking my shit and slowing down my algorithm when I do, but I am so frustrated with the rhetoric that is happening online because of the fact that people are losing their SNAP benefits. And the fucking hillbillies who are out there saying, well, it's about time that they go get a job. Let me just tell you, I had a job. In fact, I had 2 jobs. I had a corner office in downtown Cincinnati at a marketing firm that didn't pay me shit. And I worked my ass off, doubles, 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as a waitress on the river. But I also had 4 boys by myself. I did not have child support from my ex-husband. Would not be able to get child support from my ex-husband. I did not live in the projects. I did not live in government subsidized housing. I did not live on Section 8. I did not receive any other benefits other than food stamps. And let me tell you, I needed them. My boys, my money went to bills or field trips or shoes or coats in the winter. It's not like I was dressing them in, the top of the line. We did hand-me-downs like a skill set that should be taught in trade school. I had no other support except for myself and food stamps. Are there people out there that take advantage of food stamps and other government funding? Yes. Do I give a shit about them? No. Because there are so many people out there that are working their asses off and still cannot feed their family. So until you are a single mom with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't care how many kids you have, until you walked over those hot coals barefoot up a slippery hill full of razor blades, you need to shut up and sit down. Is there a better way for us to be able to handle the people that do take advantage of this? Yes. Do the people that take advantage of this probably still have hungry kids? Because if they're willing to take advantage of something like this, then they're also willing to not be the most productive members of society, which means that their kids are probably hungry because they don't have a whole lot of, ability to try to not make that the case. Probably. But at the end of the fucking day, people need food stamps. People like me, people that work, people that struggle, people that have no help at no fault of their own need this little bit of help. And so all of you people out there who are so entitled to believe that either A, no, everybody out there that's receiving food stamps shouldn't or isn't deserving or doesn't, work to get them. or B, you've never been in this situation, please shut up. The government is strongholding and starving our most vulnerable people right now, because if the Democrats sign this bill, then that means that millions of Americans are going to lose their health care, or premiums are going to go up 75% and they cannot afford it. And if those with COPD, half of you motherfuckers that are out there pointing fingers, acting like bullshit, but also smoking your Marlboro 100s, won't be able to afford your fucking oxygen. And that's why they will not sign it, because it is actually a matter of life and death. The Republicans want you to believe that they're just wanting to give illegal immigrants health care. They don't get health care. They never have. They never will. That's not even on the table. It's not even on the table. Nobody's even asking for that. So that's fake news, in the words of your fearless leader. The advantage is to the billionaire millionaires, higher 1%ers for tax deductions by taking away money from the medical necessities of our very vulnerable and sick. And the way to get that is to starve the poor. Shut up. Sit down. If you're not helping, you're in the fucking way.
Americans like to eat. There is no question about that. But there is a question about what's going to happen on November 1st when SNAP benefits are virtually zero. No one's handing them out. And this comes right before the major holidays where people gather around the table, create memories, love each other, blah, blah, blah. There's not going to be much love if people are starving and pissed off. And people are going to get furious. I don't know about you, but I have met people who have been on diets and fasting, and just for a few hours, they are miserable, upset, angry. That's for a few hours. Talk about a few days, a week, no, depending on how long this government shutdown MAGA cause goes on. We are about to enter a very dangerous level of this government shutdown. And all I have to say is that if you see people walking out without paying at the grocery store, mind your damn business.
Brothers and sisters, the US federal government is getting closer to a full shutdown and has made an announcement that has shaken millions of Americans. The government has warned the SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, may come to an end if the shutdown continues. And now, MAGA supporters are furious because for many of them, SNAP isn't about abstract government program. It lies between putting food on the table and going hungry. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is the largest anti-hunger initiative in the United States. It helps more than 41 million American families with kids, senior people, veterans, and yes, working class people who are struggling to make ends meet. SNAP is always funded through the federal budget, but when there is a government shutdown, Congress stops authorizing spending. That means that after a short window, usually a few weeks, programs like SNAP start running out of money. This time, officials have made it clear if the shutdown drags on, the benefits will stop, and that's not an empty threat. Now, the irony is that many of the loudest voices that demanded a government shutdown are from the same political base that depends heavily on the SNAP. According to the USDA data, the significant portion of SNAP recipients live in rural conservative states, places that voted overwhelmingly for the MAGA movement. Those are the red states. These are areas hit hard by job losses, factory closures, and rising food prices. Many families rely on monthly assistance just to buy basics like milk, rice, and eggs. And when the government shuts down, those benefits don't magically appear, they stop. So suddenly, the slogans about shrinking government sound very different when people realize that small government also means fewer safety nets. The shutdown stems from political gridlock, Congress failing to pass spending bills, because of deep divisions between parties and within the Republican caucus itself. Some MAGA-aligned lawmakers have been pushing for extreme budget cuts, saying the government spends too much, but those cuts often hit his social programs like SNAP, Medicaid, and housing assistance, not the wealthy or the big corporations that benefit from tax breaks. And when the system freezes, it's ordinary Americans who pay the price. Think about it. Grocery store doesn't wait for Washington to figure things out. The landlord doesn't post the rent, and the power company doesn't care about Capitol Hill debates. Life keeps going, but without benefits, people can't keep up. Now let's talk about the real human cost. For families relying on SNAP, even one missed month can cause chaos. Parents start skipping meals so their kids can eat. Seniors on fixed incomes face tough choices between medicine and groceries. And working class people, many holding 2 or 3 jobs, suddenly find themselves falling behind again. They may need to work more hours. For MAGA supporters who once believed that government handouts were for other people, this moment is forcing a hard truth. Many Americans, regardless of politics, rely on government support more than they realize. The stereotype that only one group uses food assistance is a myth. In fact, the majority of SNAP households include at least one working adult. The problem isn't laziness, it's wages that haven't kept up with the cost of living. What makes the situation more tense is how the political messaging has backfired. For years, MAGA politicians have told their base that cutting social spending would teach people to be self-reliant. But now, the very people who cheered for those policies are seeing how fragile the system really is. When you take away government funding, it doesn't just hurt people in the cities. It hits the rural towns and small communities as well. The grocery stores that depend on SNAP spending, and even the farmers who grow the food. That's the ripple effect. A shutdown doesn't just pause Washington. It affects the local economy across America. This isn't the first time something like this happened. When I mean this, I mean government shutdown, because during the 2018 to 2019 government shutdown, the longest in US history, SNAP funds were delayed, and many states had to scramble to issue early payments to prevent families from going hungry. But early payments aren't a solution. They are a temporary patch. Once that money runs out, there's nothing left until Congress acts. And every time this cycle repeats, it weakens public trust. People start to feel like pawns in a political chess game, used for talking points but left to fend for themselves when things fall apart. So, why are MAGA supporters angry now? Because reality doesn't care about political loyalty. When food prices are already through the roof, when jobs don't pay enough, and when savings are literally low, losing SNAP benefits become a crisis. Many of these supporters are realizing the government they wanted to shrink is the same one that keeps their families fed. It's a painful lesson about how interconnected everything really is. And that's where education matters. Understanding how public programs work helps people make informed choices, not just emotional ones. The truth is, SNAP isn't a free giveaway. It's an investment that strengthens communities. Every dollar spent on SNAP generates about $1.50 to $1.80 in local economic activity. Grocery stores, delivery trucks, farms, and jobs all benefit. Even that, when that money stops flowing, the local economy suffers too. Stores sell less, workers get fewer hours, and small towns start to feel the pinch. So when MAGA supporters demand a shutdown without realizing what it means, they're not just protesting Washington, they're hurting their own communities. But here's the thing. Brothers and sisters, this isn't about gloating or saying, I told you so. It's about learning. It's about realizing that we are all in the same boat when the system breaks down. Whether you left, right, or somewhere in between, hunger doesn't ask your political party. And when food assistance disappears, everyone feels the impact. That's why it's so important to hold leaders accountable no matter who they are. If politicians want to score points by shutting down the government, they should be reminded that real lives are at stake, not just members on a budget. At the end of the day, this crisis shows how dependent America truly is on functional institutions. SNAP isn't a weakness. It's a safety net that keeps millions from falling into despair. As MAGA supporters express their anger and confusion, maybe this moment can serve as a wake-up call, a reminder that government isn't just bureaucracy. It's schools, hospitals, food programs, and essential services that keep the country running. The next time leaders talk about shutting it all down to make a point, remember who really pays the price. Not the politicians, not the lobbyists, but the people. So brothers and sisters, let's stay informed, stay grounded, and remember, when the system stops, hunger doesn't wait. Understanding how these policies affect all of us is the first step toward real change. If you found this breakdown helpful and this video helpful, ensure that you share it with other people so that they can learn or hear from it. Let's keep the conversation going because we have all to educate ourselves. Thanks for watching, and kindly subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.